What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Podcast, episode 298. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
And we're looking out for boom slings with Adam.
Sweet, we watched Bullet Train.
Hell yeah, dude. Finally.
Silly
This,
Yeah. I remember at one point I got a text from Adam. It was like, it's a silly goose time. And it was right as I was hitting the credits, and I was like, you know what? Like, he's right. Like, doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel, but it's a well polished wheel, that's for sure.
yeah. My thing is like I love action movies like this. You know, that's like Smoking
yeah.
Aces, you know, the Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrel, Snatch, like where you have like these completely over the top characters that are larger than life personalities, and there's just like an incident. There's just a thing that happens, and you just see how all these people kind of react to it. I love it. I think it is peak action movie, in my opinion, and I would watch a sequel.
Oh, yeah. The way that
Or
they
a
walk
prequel.
away at the end, I'm like, it might be another one.
Yeah,
Well, I have
He's
to.
just Mr. Magooing his way through it, you know?
yeah,
Well, to add to what Griffin was saying, with movies like this, this movie leans more into the territory that I enjoy. Like, yeah, I love the over the top characters as
yes,
opposed to it being, you know, uh, like a typical caper per se, where they're still equally ridiculous personalities. But it's more of just like line delivery and accents in those movies as opposed to in this. Like it's a full blown, like a whole package deal from every individual character has its own like eccentricities to it and everything.
yes. It's incredible, man, and the fact that like they kept it really kind of low key the way that they handled the characters. Like there wasn't too many characters that they were trying to establish at one time. I love how they did the flashback segments, to kind of show their backstory before you know how they got on the train, how they how they ended up there. That was really cool, and it really does a good job of explaining like their personality and what they're in it for and all that good stuff.
Oh, dude, the movie makes you give a shit about Lemon and Tangerine, dude.
Oh, dude.
Like
For real.
those two stole the show for me.
And they
Yeah.
really were brothers.
Yeah. Twins.
That was sad, man.
It was.
When he
dude.
finds him in there, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. Because he was like, remember earlier, he's like, I'm not wearing a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
But he was.
Yeah. That whole Thomas the trainer
Yeah, like,
When he
was
finds
yeah.
that sticker on her, he's like, "You're fucking
absolutely,
peaceful."
yeah, very. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, I would if I had a DVD copy of this, it would sit next to Smoking Aces.
Yeah. I loved it. It's funny because after I watched it, I was I was talking to Adam. I'm like, I was looking at the IMDb, and this was before I got to the director. I'm like, this dude should do Deadpool, and then I was like, wait, he did do Deadpool. He did Deadpool too, like. But it was just, I want to see a prequel with Lemon and Tangerine.
Yeah.
Their back and forth was so well written and so British, dude. It was fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, they had probably some of the best scenes, and it was absolutely the banter.
Well, when they break
Yeah.
down their kills,
Yeah,
was hilarious. That's the first time when you're like, oh, okay.
It's one of those.
We're going
yeah,
like that with this. Like,
yeah. Oh my god. And
All
them
boiled down
butchering-
to a civilian being the 16th kill.
It's like, why the fuck was he there?
did not expect Michael Shannon.
Oh, as the White Devil?
No.
Yeah,
Because
Oh,
he's on
man,
the IMDb, but there's no name. It doesn't tell you who he is.
Yeah.
and
So I'm like,
yeah,
where's he
just
at?
the little bouts of star power scattered through the movie.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Well, that to Ryan Reynolds to fucking Sandra Bullock of all people.
Yeah, right.
I thought they were going to do a speed joke.
I know. That would have been fucking incredible, right? Um, Aaron Taylor Johnson, man.
Yeah, he killed it.
I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is he British?
He's got to be. I know that
I
other dude's
mean,
not,
yeah,
because
yeah,
he was in Atlanta and Eternals.
yeah.
He's starting to blow up.
Let's see. Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Gotta be.
Buckinghamshire.
Yeah. There you go.
Is
Dude, I'd
an
like to see
English
him
stage.
and Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Dude, kind of like they did in that Legends movie
Oh
where
my.
he plays the two. You know, just
Yeah.
those two working together. That would be some good back and forth.
Yeah. He was.
I'd like to see Aaron Johnson. I'd like to see him in a Tarantino movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that he
Oh,
just
he's gonna
based
pull
off of
something off of
this.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just based off of this movie, he
Phone's
may
gonna be
pull a
ringing.
Tarantino. Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
emails.
I mean, that's yeah. He killed it. Like that to me was like the breakout performance. The
Yeah.
like
That and the water bottle.
yes. Yeah, exactly. And the movie focused around them for like over half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like Brad Pitt was in it a couple of times. You know, he had a couple action sequences here and
He
there.
was just
But
linking
it
everybody together.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And but it was really following them around and it was telling their story more so than his story. So,
Through the wolf.
oh my god,
When they
dude.
show his whole
Random
Yeah.
as
master power.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hornet.
He,
I knew that she was in the movie, the chick that plays her, you know.
yeah.
But I'm every time you'd see somebody, remember when they was trying to take that case, I was like, somebody's in that fucking suit, man.
Yeah, like why would she be trying? Yeah. And it
When
being a
when he
in
punches
Japan.
that. Oh, dude, yeah. So all the cute kawaii shit all over the place,
Yeah.
man. And like,
With all this death and murder happening everywhere.
How
He
come
got
nobody
fucking
was
dead.
like, what the? Nobody was blowing the whistle on them when they're
No.
beating the shit out of each other in a quiet cart. And it's like that girl was like,
Yeah.
shh, eat a bag of dicks, lady. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get better.
Yeah, it was. These are the action movies that I live for, man. Like, I love them, and you know, it's fun to sit down and watch like what the Russo brothers are doing now. And this is something that I was talking about the other night. It's like it's cool to sit down and watch like an espionage type thriller action movie and like James Bond or you know anything that you would associate with like typical action movie, like The Expendables or something. But like that stuff for me, what it feels like is action movies that are done like Bullet Train, Smoking Aces, took all the best stuff that the 80s did and just amped it up by 10
Yeah,
and made it into this cool, neatly wrapped presentation. You know, I'm a sucker for like those giant splash text scenes where
Oh, yeah.
everything would pop. Like I'm a sucker for that shit, dude. I love whenever you start getting the characters introduced. They all have nicknames. They all have these crazy elaborate things going on. Personalities are off the chart. Like that to me, that's better than any Fast and Furious any day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love it, man. And it's so memorable. Like, I mean, I'll never forget Tangerine.
No. Or Lemon.
Never, dude. Or
well,
Lemon.
just I loved how everything, like almost like a train, everything was linked through a sequence of events.
Yeah.
Like even down to whenever, because dude, you love to hate that little kid, man.
Yeah.
And when dude hits her with the tangerine truck, he
Yeah.
still like it still gave the audience what they
was
wanted was for
hilarious.
Tangerine to put that kid down.
At
Yeah.
first, I was like, is it plums? Because he was like, are we the plums?
He's like, they're
I don't think
sophisticated.
you get the analogy. Are we the plums? You hung up on the wrong thing here, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, yeah, it's like, come on, man.
you know, I could see though they might go back and do a prequel, but I don't think Lemon's dead. He jumped out
No.
into the water, so
And then
and
he
you know
got
they
in the
kind of come
truck.
together at the end. He's like, "You're my brother. I got a new brother," and he's like, "Really?" He's like, "Fuck no."
Fuck no. Yeah.
And then he saved his
yeah.
life by jumping out of that fucking train. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
to be fair, it's Tangerine's fault. I mean, dude was trying to tell him the whole time.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Man, it was
Well, it shows that it was like that was still the best piece of writing was the handling of Lemon and Tangerine, just because when you're introduced at first to them, you're like, all right, these are the guys we're gonna have to be against. These are the bad guys. All right, understood. And then by the end of the film, you're rooting for them.
yeah.
Oh, he directed
I-
Hobbs and Shaw. Kind of makes me want to check that out now.
I know, right? I said the only thing it was missing was fucking Statham, dude.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Hobbs and Shaw get a better review than the mainline
Everybody loved it.
installment?
Yeah, I think
Then
so. Yeah.
Like 'cause it came out the same year one of the main installments came out too, and I believe it did better than it.
Mm-hmm. I believe you're right.
Yeah, it's
I
got
mean-
that over the top. Just
Yeah.
And that was just Statham and The Rock, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Statham.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. I'm here to drive a car really
Yeah, his
fucking
name is
fast.
Dougie. And he just
Remember Hobbs and Shaw, I'm gonna show you how to make a grilled cheese.
But yeah, man. Like this is what I live for. These little quirky action movies like this.
Oh, wait. So the director was a stunt double for Brad Pitt 5 times and Matt
Whoa.
Damon multiple times on The Bourne Ultimatum. That makes
Wow.
sense because he got a unaccredited for being director on John Wick. I think he was a stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
Because the stunts were there, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, the
fighting
choreography
in this movie?
was great.
Yeah.
Dude, when he was fucking him up with that briefcase,
Mm-hmm.
even fucked up with it with the book at the end, the manual, he's like, English, got it. Went right out
All
the
the-
window.
All those little clever little moments of hand-to-hand combat using different objects and shit. Whenever it
Real
gets that
Jackie
John Wick
Chan, like-
flair, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Like taking
Rumble in
like
the
a mop,
Bronx.
taking like a mop handle and using it to block a fucking sword
Yeah.
for like 6 or 7 hits before they cut it. You know, a little shit like that's always so much fun to watch, especially when it's executed like with the type of speed that this movie's got, and you know, especially the more modern action film where the fight the pacing of fights is so much more than what it was in the 90s. You know.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much camera movement. Like there was, I mean, there was still a lot of, you know, like action movies had that sense of that kinetic feel to them, but nothing on par with what they're putting out nowadays.
They did a
Yeah.
good job too at like making a small space not seem so small. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, like
Like-
the cabin of a
Yeah.
fucking train.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those the classic movie magic, man.
Yeah. Here's what's crazy. The guy that played the wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
His name is Bad Bunny.
Oh, the
He's-
artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Right?
way.
Wait,
Yeah, that
what?
was him, dude. Yeah.
Who is?
Okay.
The guy that played the wolf.
Dude,
the-
he's like
that was
this
get-
huge rap
yeah.
/ pop star from Puerto Rico. He's huge.
Yeah, he's massive.
Big in fashion. Like,
Yeah.
all
And
right.
he fucking killed it.
He did a good job.
I would have, you know what I mean? Like I
No.
would have never known.
Yeah, I see that it says it on there, but I didn't even.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I
Good for
loved it.
him.
Yeah.
He was as good as the wolf.
He was, and that's the thing. Like the wolf was such a. I'm glad that they spent more time on the wolf's backstory since he
Yeah.
was just kind of in and out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
because he was straight living life, like taking care, of his
Yeah.
parents or whatever, and then having to walk, just left home at like 4. Like living on the streets, dude. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
When it was doing the whole montage where he's kicking ass
Yeah,
and the dude's like got the corona.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Then
Them,
I'm like, why did Brad Pitt kill everybody at the wedding?
yeah,
Dude,
Then
talk
it's
about
like,
wrong
oh.
place, wrong time.
Yeah, every time, right? I got that Brad Pitt kind of look though,
Yeah. If it wasn't
Like
for
if I
bad
was,
luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all.
yeah, exactly, dude.
But
Well,
Exactly.
that
at the
whole
same
little look
time,
on, the whole look on the bright side aspect where they were like, no, dude, you're holding all the bad
well,
luck so everyone else can be lucky.
but at the same time, he was probably the luckiest person.
Yeah, right.
I mean, got bit by the snake. Oh, had the antidote earlier.
Yeah.
When he's when that train wrecks at the end, first of all, would have killed everyone on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone would have been dead, and it wouldn't have pushed that other train off the tracks. What happened to
No.
those people?
Yeah,
It's just like
right.
fuck them kids, But when he goes flying past them, and they all look at each other like what? And that
Not
fucking
happening.
suit thing catches him. He just like goes into a cocoon, like pretty fucking lucky.
Yeah, I agree. It's good though, man. Like,
That's
and
the
it's
sec- It's almost like, so Tim Miller did this movie, right?
no, this was the guy that did the second one. It was David Leitch.
Because it's almost like it's a new staple with that Deadpool shit that you have like those really crazy long shots that are in slow motion,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like how like the way the first movie starts, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna recut that slow motion scene and put "Man in Me Do."
When he's
nearly
floating,
any-" Yeah, dude.
he goes past the as for compensation. That thing hits him in the face.
Yeah, ding. It's happening, dude. Nah, yeah, man. So good. And I'm glad to see Brad Pitt still at it,
Yeah.
Or
Like,
fucking, or dude, sorry, you had me thinking about that shit too. While he's flying through it, it's just playing the fucking beginning of House of the Rising Sun.
yeah, that would work, yeah.
It was in
I lo
Japan.
I love the soundtrack too. How
Yeah.
everything was on J-pop,
Mhm.
K-pop, like
Mm-hmm.
the
Oh, when
covers
it
and
hit that I
everything.
Need a Hero, dude, and
Yeah.
they're fighting
That
the
was
train.
dude. Yeah, I'm glad y'all
Did a
noticed
Bee
that
Gees
too.
song earlier in the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Staying Alive.
Yeah.
It's based off of a book, man. And I may have to peep that book at some point. I mean, and the book is written by Kotaro Asaka, I think. So, I mean, it kind of makes me interested to see like how faithful did they stay to it? Because
Yeah.
if this takes place in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And you have these kind of characters with this kind of like did he write two British guys on the train? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And like how faithful was,
Or was that the one that adapted the screenplay that
exactly, right? Yeah. So makes me interested in kind of checking that out to see what's going on with that, but I'll get around to it at some point. I'm putting it on my retirement list. So, it's ever growing. So,
I give it a full star.
yeah, dude, I'm giving it a fucking golden train, bullet
Yeah.
train, dude.
Thomas the Train. A
Dude, that
bullet
shit was
Thomas
so,
the Train.
dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like the diesel.
He's
You're the
like,
diesel.
How do you stop it? He's like, I don't know. He's like, all you've been doing is talking about trains the whole time.
He's like, we missed this episode of Thomas the Tank Engine. It's like, wait.
Yeah, I could straight up watch this again like this week.
Yeah. Oh, if I put it
How
on
much
right
I
now, I'd
enjoyed it.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch the whole thing from beginning to end. with a smile on my face. The Last of Us, I finally watched the first episode and went ahead and watched the second episode yesterday.
Damn, 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I really like this is what The Walking Dead should have been doing the entire fucking
Didn't
time.
have the budget.
I know.
You know what I
but that-
mean? You could tell,
yeah. Yeah.
like the large scale of everything they didn't have, and that's what you wanted to see. It's like, let's get out there and see what it looks like.
yeah.
Let's
Right.
just not stay in one place forever. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
getting boring. When they were looking off of that in the second episode, when they're looking down at all of them on the ground,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's a creepy shot. Like,
Yeah. What'd you think of the clickers?
was that the fucking things that couldn't see?
Yeah.
Fuck
The-
those things. Fucking barnacle boy. The
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
Dude, those that they portrayed them in the show exactly the same way you felt about them while you were playing the fucking game. You did not want to fucking be around those motherfuckers. They were nerve-wracking as fuck.
So was that whole thing in the game where they go into that building and she gets that
Yes.
jump scare near because it felt like it was from a game. Like, you know, you're like, oh, we're in this building. Oh, hope there's nothing in the water. Jump scare.
Yeah. Like you go into the building and everything, it was, and I'm pretty sure it was a museum that you were in during this part of the game, but like that there was clickers in there. And like what's cool about the game, and I'm sure that they'll do it at some point in the show, but you could pick up bricks and bottles and stuff in your inventory, and you would use those to like throw
Make
'em,
noise.
make noise, and yeah, move
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So I was expecting him, and he kind of did that whenever he knocked that statue into that glass thing.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of pulled it over there for a couple of minutes and everything. But yeah, I thought it was cool whenever they went into that tunnel, and you saw that dude had like,
Oh, yeah. He was like, this one's done.
yeah, where he was like, it was kind of like Annihilation,
Yeah.
where the way that he was like grown into
Yeah,
the
it
wall and
was.
everything. Yeah.
Dude,
But
that's
yeah.
fucking creepy, though, that how, like, if it's an area of the fungus that's still alive,
Yeah.
it will tell
Yeah.
everyone.
Hive mind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've always loved the explanation as to what happened and why it happened and the reason that the creatures
Yeah.
are acting the way that they are. Because like with zombie movies now, there's no real like rhyme or reason to it, right?
Mhm.
It's just we're getting attacked because they're
Yeah.
zombies, you know, or they're eating us or whatever. But there's with it being this like parasitic host type situation, there's a weird need for survival that exists inside of these things. And you don't really associate that with zombies because, like, oh, they're dead. They're going to continue to decompose until they fall
Yeah.
apart, you know? But with these things, like, yeah, it kind that kind of happens, but in a different way.
And its whole purpose is to spread it to every living thing.
Yeah.
That's all it cares
Everything.
about.
Yeah. Everything it can spread it to. It's a survival mechanism. It's
Yeah.
fucking fascinating, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, I saw a thing where they were talking about, in the second episode where there's the Asian lady.
Yeah.
I think they're in Indonesia or something.
Yeah. Indonesia. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said that in the game, the shit it was in South America because that's where the ants are, where they have that shit.
Yeah.
So they kind of changed it for the thing, but it was at like a seed factory or
Yeah.
a grain,
Yeah. Grain factory.
and that
yeah.
stuff had been shipped all around the world. That's why that woman was like, "Oh well, bomb it." I mean, that's all you can do. It's like
Yeah.
blow it up, kill everybody here.
Yeah. And it's her reaction too.
Yeah,
I don't know who that woman is, but she's like, you've got to kill everything and everybody. It's not going to stop.
I'm gonna go see my
And
family for a little bit.
yeah. Before we get fucking destroyed. And that's, yeah.
So these things, in the second episode, you know, we were 20 years ahead by the end of the first one, but
Yeah.
what are these mutated? Because he said some
It,
of them will live for a couple of months, but then there's some that have been alive for 20 years.
yeah. So it's like it's and
Like,
they'll
do they ever
explain
tell
it
you in the
more.
game? Okay.
I can't remember exactly but it's like an
I
evolutionary
get,
thing,
yeah,
I
okay,
think.
that makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know, some of them have adapted
Yeah.
more so. And that's the thing about those fucking clickers is like the regular infected, they can see you, you know, they
Yeah.
have senses and they just want to infect you. The clickers wants to fucking destroy you
Yeah.
and everything, like they want to kill you and destroy you. It's like a wild animal, basic, you know, more or less.
Yeah, they did a good job with them. They made them look, when it looked
Yeah.
and that girl went, you know, and it went like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, goddamn. I was like, what's on its face? It's growing mushrooms
Yeah.
on it. It's got moss on its head.
Don't call me a moss head.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
They said online that they really did Tess dirty. She not die like that in the game?
What do you mean?
Well, she was the one that was like, I got bit. Y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
People online, I didn't read the article, but it was like they did her dirty, and I didn't know. I'm like, they did her dirty. It ain't about her. I mean,
I think that she died in the game, but I can't remember how. It's been so long since I played.
probably
it.
because it didn't last as long.
Let's
Maybe,
see.
you know, like she wasn't there longer.
Let's see. I'm gonna look it up.
But it made sense. So the little girl can get bit, and she's fine. That's some pretty good plot armor.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
fuck, send her in. I wonder if the infected, because like if she takes a test, it says she's infected. Will they not fuck with her because she just walked through a crowd of them?
Well, so that's one thing that I was kind of wondering, and they kind
Yeah.
of showed that where whenever they started coming in and that dude kissed her,
Yeah.
like they saw her and they went over there. Like if she was infected at that point and it's a hive mind, then they should have ignored her. But they, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
all of them
Like,
did, but he looked at her and was like, "Oops, she's acting different.
yeah,
What you got there, lighter?"
yeah, right.
I'm over here like, "Are y'all ain't gonna take none of those grenades with you? Like, none of that stuff?"
Yeah. So in the game, she was killed by soldiers.
Well, I like this way better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine.
The way she told him, she's like, "Look, man, we've done a lot of fucked up shit, and now it, you know, with her knowing what happened to his daughter, it's like this is your chance to
ride it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm digging it though.
I'm digging it too, man. I can't wait to watch more. And I hope that I hope they do it in similar HBO fashion where it doesn't go too long. You know, it doesn't burn itself out or anything like that. But
Yeah.
because we're gonna see a a decent little chunk of like the US if they do the game or the show kind of like the game. You'll see different parts of the world that's kind of like been ruined and everything. So I'm interested to see how deep they go with it. But there are a lot of changes that they did make, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. What makes sense
I
for the
don't
show, because it's like you don't want to know everything that's gonna happen.
exactly. And
Well,
and that's the thing that me and Corey was talking about. I was like, a lot of the information that you learned from what's going on in the game was all Joel and Ellie's conversation while they were moving around in the game. You can't do that in a TV show because it'll be fucking boring. You know, like
Yeah.
you have to show things happen. You have to have scenes set up where it's not just two people fucking sitting there talking.
Well, that one, what they did when she's like, "I'll go on the other side and open the thing."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, now y'all can talk for a second.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hurry up.
But yeah. Sorry, Trev. What was you going to say, man?
Oh, it was I can't remember.
But yeah, I've been enjoying it, and I love Pedro, man.
Yeah.
He kills it in everything, and he's rocking it like a hurricane here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So, and he's got some big ass arms, dude.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how muscular he was until that first episode where he's holding her, and
Mm-hmm.
you see how big his arms. I'm like, damn, don't break her neck. She got shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, who
I
bought
wonder,
tickets to the gun show over here?
I wonder how much of that show is filmed on the volume.
Filmed on what?
The volume.
Like that circle thing. The screens.
Mm-hmm. Because some of those shots of like the outside shots where it would show the dilapidated buildings and stuff, that was just really well made.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to like how they like what their approach to filming was. Like, is most of it through like CGI, green screen, like if they did so, if there's some practical stuff, because I feel like there is, and maybe just some light touch ups in the background to make it look,
Yeah.
the way it does. But
Speaking of,
but that was one of the biggest things I've gotten out of the show is just that just how well made it is, because there's
yeah,
like I said, there's just all those shots, dude, from the last shot of the first episode, even like the outbreak sequence, like there's just these really expensive shots that let you know HBO's willing to drop some coin on this one.
yeah,
Because I was very skeptical. Never played the games personally. Um, I mean, I tried, but never got around to completing them. And I was very skeptical. Like, man, it's just gonna be The Walking Dead all over again. But I've been pleasantly surprised.
yeah. Speaking of that technology for a second, though, it's kind of amazing how it went full circle, right? Because, like,
The
you know,
Mandalorian. That's what they
well,
used on
well,
Mandalorian.
right.
Yeah.
So back in the day, you can see like stills and videos from where they would put up a piece of glass, have someone come out and paint
Yeah.
on 3/4 of the glass, and then shoot someone doing something in the other corner of the glass, and as a way to bring like whatever vision to life. And then it went, the CGI route. It went like building everything on a sound stage to now we're back to that, but in a slightly different way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being a pane of glass that someone's painting on, it's a giant fucking screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With
With
like,
Unreal Engine.
yeah, or with a fucking painting on it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like somebody could have painted that and they could have just put it up on the screen. Like that's crazy, man. Full circle. Technology's weird.
It is.
Like it's
I
good, but
just
it's weird, man.
it's kind of ironic that we have to use such expensive technology to make shit look so fucking destroyed.
I know, right? I mean, they could have bombed fucking Boston. Who would have gave a
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh, we got to bomb Boston this week. Why? We're shooting a movie over there.
Just drop
Oh,
just drop a bunch of tear and mustard gas out into the streets. Once they're all evacuated, just blow everything the
I
fuck
think that's
up.
kind of what Boston looks like now. Just kidding.
you want to touch on some movie news real quick?
Oh, yeah.
So, a role in Don't Look Up director Adam McKay's next movie could be yours for the low, low price of $25,000. Adam McKay has never been far away from a new project to make people pay a little more attention to the issue of climate change. And following the success of Netflix movie Don't Look Up, he is now trying a new way of drawing attention to the big issue of the world around us. In benefit of the Climate Energy Fund, McKay is selling off personal items including movie props, comic books, trading cards, and for someone with deep pockets, a walk-on role in his next movie. The Make Me Regret This auction has 37 available lots to choose from, and for an estimated final price of 25,000, anyone can get themselves a part in McKay's upcoming film. The auction features a mix of baseball cards, vintage wines, first edition comic books, and the Sex Panther prop from Anchorman. I wouldn't mind having that. However, along with this, McKay is offering the chance for someone to meet him and have a walk on role in his next picture. Bid now on the incredible opportunity for you and a guest to meet Adam McKay with a walk on, non speaking role on his next upcoming film project. Adam McKay, Climate Emergency Fund Board of Director, is an Academy Award winning writer, director, producer. Adam's most recent feature, Don't Look Up, receiving 4 Academy Award and BAFTA nominations, including Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay, as well as WGA Original Screenplay win for McKay. So if you guys ever wanted to be in a movie,
dude, it'll be hilarious.
No,
if
what's
nobody
hilarious
bids
is
on that.
what's hilarious is right underneath that it says the lot currently has 29
Yeah.
watchers, but no current bids.
Yeah.
So his net worth is $60 million. If he's so worried about the climate, why don't he just drop him a cool 10?
Yeah.
He's
Or
got
half
plenty of
it.
money.
Yeah. That'd be a
Should
great
give him all the
tax
money that
write-off.
this movie made.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
right.
didn't make any.
I don't know that much money. I
I'm
better
just
have. I better at least be allowed to say I don't know. Excuse me on screen.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the walk-ons, that's exactly what it is. Walk
Well, and
on,
not only
walk off.
that, I want to guarantee that my shot
Won't
is
get
going to make it
cut.
in the yeah.
I
it's gonna
want to
make it
be
in
the.
movie.
I want to be the guy that's like in the car that almost hits the main character who crosses too soon,
Okay.
and I hang my head out and go, "Fuck you, asshole!" You know.
Don't Look
Yeah.
Up made $791,000 in the box office.
Oh, how much?
791,000.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
So,
people
but-
weren't too.
but
weren't
How did
too
it get all these
crazy about that.
nominations? I mean,
Well,
you know what I mean?
money can get you a lot of things in this world, including nominations.
Yeah, they really fucking
yeah.
missed it on that one.
Yeah, movie was bad. Next up here, Hot Wheels live action adaptation moves forward. So
Now
live
that's
action,
something I can get behind.
Right.
No, I'm just-
With 2 fingers?
So Mattel has brought on writers Dalton Lieb and Nicholas Jacobson Larson to pen the script for the upcoming movie. 54-year-old race car toy franchise will be brought to life in a live action adaptation with Robbie Brenner, EP for Mattel Films, leading the project alongside VP Kevin McKeon and creative executive Andrew Scannell. The film will also be produced by Bad Robot with Hannah Minghella and John Cohen overseeing the project. This is not the first time Lieb and Jacobson Larson have worked with Bad Robot, as the duo previously sold their original sci-fi epic Endurance to Netflix in a bidding war with Simon Kinberg producing. This is just one of many projects in development for Mattel Film, who also have movies based on American Girl, Barney, The Magic 8 Ball, Major Matt Mason, Matchbox, Masters of the Universe, Polly Pocket, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Thomas and Friends, Uno, Viewmaster, and Wishbone in the works. The development slate also includes Christmas Balloon, which is based on an all-new IP, and the highly anticipated Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, which will hit theaters on July 21st. They're working on a Barney movie, Magic 8 Ball, Major Matt Mason, Matchbox,
So it's all these toy
Masters of the
IPs.
Universe.
The
Yes.
Mattel Cinematic
Why don't they
Universe.
just put it all in the same thing?
Yeah, I know. Like, here's the thing. How do you make a Magic 8 Ball movie?
You make the sequel to fucking Toys, Griffin.
I mean, I
Right.
guess. Like there is some ideas in here. Like Barney, the
Sure.
Barney movie's already been made, right? Death to Smoochie already exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'll be honest with you. There is a hilarious fucking movie waiting to be made that involves like the legitimate creation of Barney.
Well,
'Cause I
dude,
watched the documentary on
people
it.
wanted to kill Barney. Yeah, like
Well,
got
he was
crazy.
he was the guy I can't remember his name, but they went through like 2 or 3 different people who wore the suit.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
the guy, there was this one dude, man, and when he put the suit on, like, he was able to fucking jump. Like, he was very athletic. And so
Mhm.
he fucking straight ragdolled that suit around. And everyone was like, holy shit, you're the energetic Barney that, like, that we grew up fucking being, like, we were the demographic for this motherfucker, you know? And anyway, it came to light that the actor who was playing Barney was also, like, a tantric sex guru.
Ooh.
Like he get paid to go fuck these women all the time, dude. And like when he was Barney, he had like strict like can't talk. You have to quit that job. You can't do any of that, or you can't promote any of that type of stuff while you're on set. Like all this crazy shit. Like it was a weird little documentary, but that made in like an almost disaster artist style film
Yeah.
would be perfect, dude.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like maybe with the direction that they're going with the Barbie movie, based
Yeah.
off of the trailer that we've seen, we may get like it would be nice to do a dark comedy version of Barney. I don't know if they'll go that route, but they could. Like Masters of the Universe should definitely be PG-13, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
hmm
And like Magic 8 Ball should be like Wishmaster, but like with a fucking Magic 8. You know what I mean? Like it should be really fucked up, you know, kind of. So I don't know. I don't
Now that would be cool as if you took these properties and applied them to different genres.
exactly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really fucking cool.
And make it a pit. Don't like if they wanted to do it right, because you have cartoons and all this other stuff for kids, right?
Yeah.
Make the Mattel cinematic universe for adults that grew up with all this stuff. Like I don't want to see the Hot Wheels movie be Cars or
Yeah.
the Fast and the
It
Furious.
needs the same
like
treatment of these
when I
others.
think of
like,
Yeah.
when I think of like a Hot Wheels movie, I think of like just really badass looking muscle cars decorated in a movie about like a father and his son like reconnecting over something.
Yeah.
Like they're racers. Like the kid is this new up and coming racer. The dad's the retired old one that's like fuck the racetrack, you
Mhm.
know.
Washed
And
up.
we
then
used to race
yeah,
on
and they
dirt.
fuck and you know old rivals have new rivals and all that shit. There, you know, legacy stuff going on.
Yeah, that's your
And you just
grandfather
have
Tonka toy.
yeah, you have
You know?
Star Wars. You have Star Wars with a bunch of muscle cars going on. You know,
Yeah.
call it Hot Wheels.
But I mean, I'm not upset about it. Like I think here I'm going to hold all thoughts and personal opinion on any of the Mattel movies until the Barbie movie comes out, because that's really going
Yeah.
to set the tone for everything. And like I have a feeling that it's going to be so weird.
Silly goose, dude.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
here's the cast for it. Old man Hot Wheel, Kevin Costner.
Oh god. You got to
Young
prime away from the fucking ranch, dude.
Young Buck Driver. Our boy from Gold,
Oh,
Zac
fucking
Efron.
yeah.
yeah.
Zac Efron, Kevin Costner, Disney film, Hot Wheels muscle cars, $1 billion, man. Everything else could just be shit smeared on it by fucking like orangutans, dude, and that's the script. Like, just have that in it, and we're gonna make a bunch of money.
Or Michael Keaton.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, no, dude, he's the villainous. He's the old man's rival. He shows
He's
up,
the
man.
black car.
He's got that. Yeah, he's got that asshole swagger. He's like, "What's going on, Kent?
Yeah.
Just thought
It's-
I'd bring the muskrat out here.
Thought I'd bring the
See what's
heat.
going on."
And he takes off.
Yeah,
It's,
and he
it's
and dude, even have it completely like dead serious, but have a good old fashioned eat my dust, boy.
yeah. It's funny that you bring up Kevin Costner because when I think of like father son reconnecting, I immediately think of Kevin Costner too. I don't know
Boy,
why.
I just imagine
but-
him going, "Whenever I had the accident, your mother said to never get behind the wheel ever again." And I told her, "Yeah, but that promise doesn't extend to you, son. Now go win your family a championship." You know, like
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Dude, this is a little off topic, but I watched that scene from Field of Dreams
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, his dad comes out
Oh yeah.
and
dude.
dude, I haven't cried that hard. I didn't even watch the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is a YouTube video.
Yeah, dude. You wanna have a catch? And I was just like, I want to go have a catch. You know, like, but damn, that movie's so good. We need to do that on the podcast sometime.
I mean, and dude, that yeah, but dude, I'm still locked in on this Kevin Costner Hot Wheels film.
I mean,
Dude,
tweet them.
we even add in the trope that Costner's got the old man fucking muscle car it's the top dog, hadn't been fired up in a while. All the young bloods
Oh,
are
like
fucking driving
Old
rosters,
muscle.
and he went, yeah, the old muscle wins the race, you know.
Mufflers coming out the side, and
Yeah,
if
got
it
fucking
does well, they'll
turbine
make the
hanging off
Micro
the back.
Machines movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, DreamWorks has got to have something to do.
All right. Well, next up we have Violent Night 2 is happening with same writers and director.
Let's go.
So the sequel to Violent Night is in development with the same creative team that brought the original to life to great success in December, featuring David Harbour as the most badass version of Santa Claus cinema has ever seen. Holiday action flick follows Saint Nick as he works to save family who's been taken hostage. Now via the rap director Tommy Wirkola. Hold on,
Ricola.
I gotta dude. I hate fucking ads. Anyway, confirms that the process of making Violent Night 2 has officially begun. Of course, the plan is for Harbour to return as Santa Claus to save more Christmases in the most violent way, but the same team will also be there on the other side of the camera. Verkola, I don't know, says he'll be back in the director's chair while Pat Casey and Josh Miller, the duo with the first film, will also be co-writing Violent Night 2. This is what he had to say. Yes, we're talking about it and we're just making deals and getting everything in order. The only caveat to this good news is that production is not going to happen in the immediate future.
Thank God.
Werkel and the screenwriters are not looking for Violent Night 2 to be rushed, instead preferring to take their time to craft out a follow-up story that everyone is happy with. Even so, there are some ideas that are already in mind, as they tease. We have time to really crack the script and figure out the story. We have some ideas. Me and Pat and Josh are the producers. We've been talking about where we want to take it and what we want to see.
I would rather them take their sweet time and it be years from now and
Yeah.
it be a good sequel than any of this rush crap.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of busy right now, anyway.
And
so-
honestly, and to be honest, I don't even know if I would watch a sequel. Not like even with all the stars lining up for this. My thing is that something like Violent Night is so over the top that the more you add to it, the less of the charm it has.
Yeah.
And I would really hate to see that happen to such a fun movie.
Right. Another quote here says there's stuff we left on the floor like the North Pole, Miss Claus, and the elves, but story wise, I think we have a really, really cool idea that expands on the world and scope, but still keeps that tone we love from the first one.
I mean, if they, I mean, the guys seem to have it in the bag.
Yeah. In the bag. You
But
know?
it's still one of those things where part of the fun of talking about violent, because like the more I've thought about it since we did the episode on it, we were all pretty like gun ho on it,
Mm-hmm.
and that in and of itself was what made that movie good, was being able to be like, dude, like was with that old Viking, like some of the like the mystery of it that's still there,
Yeah.
um, fleshing that out more. I mean, while it's good for some things, sometimes it's not. It's
Right.
kind of it's a two-edged sword for sure.
I mean, I'll check it out, but we'll see what they do. It could be something really cool. It could be something that, at the end of the day, even if they release a sequel and it's meh, we
It'll never.
still
It's still not gonna touch the Violent Night in year recap now. The last
exactly.
stab. The
Yeah,
last stab always happens.
the last sledge, dude, because they fucked them up with that
Dude, that,
sledgehammer.
that hammer work was exquisite, bro.
Yeah, I ain't seen hammer work like that since I was a teenager. You
Bobby
know.
Builder.
I mean, I haven't seen it since the fucking railroad days, but
John
I mean, I didn't
Henry.
want to go. I didn't want to go back that far, but
I mean,
You
it was
heard
the
the
time. It
trains
was
are
a
coming.
time travel melee, dude.
So I'm actually going to save this next. I'm going to do that one last. All right, Ron Howard hopes to see Solo get a follow up on Disney Plus. Ron Howard recently noted that a follow up to Solo, a Star Wars story, is not a high priority for Lucasfilm at this time concerning the future for the franchise. The director also seems to hope that he turns out to be wrong on that. Released in 2018, Solo brought something new to the table, serving as a prequel with Alden Ehrenreich. I can't. That's right. Ehrenreich leading the
Yeah.
cast as a younger Han Solo. The film came up short at the box office, perhaps in part due to this experimental approach, though it did garner positive reviews, with more and more Star Wars fans warming up to the film in the years since. Howard,
Ah,
Howard,
nothing. We just kind of called it, if I
yeah,
recall.
right, yeah. Howard clarified his stance on Solo 2 in a new interview with The Hollywood Reporter. He seems to fully support the idea of the story moving forward at Disney Plus, following the success of other Star Wars shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor. With that said, he didn't serve as a producer on Solo, so the future of that story is not up to him to decide. So while Howard can't personally greenlight another film or follow-up series, he's hoping that it one day happens, whether or not he's involved. From the interview, I'm not a producer on Solo. I came in support of the project and for my long relationship with George, Kathy, and Larry Kasdan. So I have not even been in conversations about it. One would assume that there's some characters there that could go much further, but I'm not sure where Disney Plus is going with the galaxy. These shows are not only important to everybody who works on them, but they're a big bet for the company each and every time. They make their choices really carefully and they want to keep growing and evolving. So I know that's not really an answer, but there's a real appetite to understand where Star Wars can take audience members to, in addition to building upon characters and ideas that are already known. But there's a lot of talent in Solo, and whether I was involved or not, I would love to see some of those characters again. Agreeing with the suggestion of Emilia Clarke's Kira getting a spinoff, Howard added, "Kira is pretty interesting, yeah. There are a lot of question marks swirling around her, so I would love to see that too."
Well, like I feel like they could absolutely do a direct to Disney Plus movie sequel for it. And
Yeah,
I think it'd have a great lifespan there. And if everybody came back, because I thought of the initial stuff, that initial push of content that Disney Star Wars did, where we were getting the stories.
yeah.
I thought Solo was underrated.
Yeah,
I didn't quite understand the hate for it.
yeah. I didn't understand the hate for it either, and it was one of those things that, in my opinion, felt like it was kind of doomed from the get go because of like
Mm.
you had a great writing team come in that worked on the Lego movie, and then they got rid of them. You know, decided to go a different route with it. They brought Ron Howard in. They did all this other stuff. Like to me, it's like it was kind of doomed from the get go with them saying like, no, we're going to get rid of these people and we're going to bring Ron Howard in to try to make it more of like how we want it and not how I don't know those guys wanted it. So I think that
Well,
that left. Go ahead.
well, Ted, what you're saying, what we know now from the amount of from the content that's come out now, and knowing that as far back as when this movie was being made, those were on the blueprints.
Yeah.
Um, one has to ask why even bother with this project at the time?
Yeah.
Why did it have to go through all the development woes and all of that when the larger stuff at play, like there was so much going on,
Yeah.
and
No,
doesn't make a lot of sense in hindsight now.
no, I agree 100%. And I think that that's why, like, realistically, if they wanted to take the time to go back and bring some of these characters back, like, they could do 6 episodes and they
Yeah, I
could
was thinking
bring,
a show would be good.
Because don't
yeah,
get me wrong, I can't remember if it was Rogue One or if it was Solo, but but I think both probably. The key thing that they showed in those movies was those, you know how like those minor nitpicks you would hear from the new trilogy. And don't get me wrong, there were major nitpicks, but the minor ones. And one of them was always the way they depicted warp in Disney Star Wars.
hmm
And it was either Solo or Rogue One where they showed early parts of that technology being used to kind of make it be like, oh, well, it was always around, you know?
yeah,
Um, but all of those possible perceptions aside as to why some of this stuff got made, uh, it also felt like Solo was it built up to reveal to us that Darth Maul had a lot, like there was a live action like continuation of his story going on.
yes,
And now that's abandoned clearly. But it could still, if it got followed up on Disney Plus, they could absolutely explore that because that's exactly what Kira's character was aligned with.
yeah,
And even though it would be a stretch, it could go so far as to tap into stuff that could resonate as far into as like the Mandalorian,
right.
because Darth Maul has a lot of key things going on with that plot line as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree, man. And I think that, if they really wanted to touch on that stuff, they if they could bring, a couple of those people back, bring Lando back, see one more adventure, work through this whole um what you call it? God damn it, you just said it. From the Phantom Menace. Fuck.
Darth Maul,
Yeah, work through this whole Darth Maul arc that they kind of built up to. You get 6 episodes, you're looking at 6 hours, give or take, that's more than enough to work through all of this stuff and to
And they already got the sets.
and
yeah,
you see the problem that their creations kind of becoming their own uh like they're shooting themselves in the foot too, because now kind of like with Marvel, they're not necessarily trying to adapt anything, but add to a larger continuing story, you know?
yeah,
And one of the shoddy things about Darth Maul is that throughout other shows and stuff, his story does get told.
right,
And bringing him on screen borderlines adaptation. And it's almost like they wrote themselves into a corner with Solo. But I mean, who knows? Like I mean, there's such vast amount of times gaps between events and whatnot that I'm sure there could be an ass pulled story that they could make for this. But some of the significant stuff, sadly, has already shown up in other, mediums and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, anyone who's followed any kind of Star Wars knows that Dave Filoni is the biggest Darth Maul fan, and pretty much did everything he could and brought the character back for the Clone Wars because, I mean, he was kind of one and done. And Phantom Menace were kind of one and cutting two, really.
Right.
But so I'm sure Filoni could find a way to be like, well, here's how he didn't die.
Right. Well, and I mean, yeah, they could do all kinds of stuff. That's if, in the realm of it actually happening, which at this point I think is still very low. Like, because Solo is on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
Because I would be very interested to see what the viewership is
Yeah.
like. You know what I mean? That would really determine whether like this is something that would be viable to continue or not. Because locking them down for 6 episodes, I mean, that wouldn't be that bad, and it probably wouldn't be terribly expensive, especially since like it seemed like a lot of people were doing it for the passion of the project. You know what I mean? Um,
That's why I was thinking even going the route of kind of how the Marvel one shot or the special presentations
yeah,
have like even if you don't want to tell a story that necessarily takes 6 episodes at 40 anywhere from 40 to or 30 to 40 minutes a piece, you could write one good 2 hour special presentation for Star Wars and get everything you would want out of Solo in that movie.
yeah,
I mean, I get that the show aspect would be, well, first off, you'd have a long, you'd have a, who doesn't want to be able to go, hey man, got an episode of Solo going on tonight,
yeah,
or for any kind of property that a person enjoys for that matter. But as far as being able to give some sort of slight nod to some stuff that's already been created in those plot lines and whatnot, and with there being so little that you could really introduce, I feel like a movie would be just a good straight to streaming film.
yeah. So we'll see what they end up doing with it. I mean, it's cool that Ron Howard's backing it, so we'll see if that gains any momentum whatsoever, or if they're just like, yeah, Ron's getting older.
Well, and it may have been that could be
And
them
I
just
mean,
putting it out because
yeah,
Yeah,
the movie came out a
gauging.
year before Disney Plus even dropped.
Exactly right.
So
Yeah,
now that they've filmed all these shows for Disney Plus, now they've got the fucking that CG thing, the fucking big screen. They got all these sets.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
Andor, you
true.
name it, man. You
because
know what I mean?
yeah, because
You
I
have
mean, dude,
everything. The crew's already there.
Yeah,
It would
imagine a
take them no
solo
time
film.
to pump it
Imagine a
out.
solo film that's got the level of budget and detail that Andor
Yeah.
got. I mean,
yeah,
dude, that would be great.
yeah,
Because like Solo would be a perfect world building movie. Just
Yeah,
showing you
because you
more
could
parts.
use it to,
Yeah, just show us more parts
introduce
of the
other people
galaxy we haven't
maybe.
seen yet.
Because even if they don't pick up right after that movie, there's many adventures.
oh yeah, for
Oh, there,
sure.
there there was a whole book series dedicated to just Han Solo and Lando doing shit. So that yeah, they could. There's absolutely stuff that could be done. Um, they just have to cherry pick a lot of Star Wars legends, which I mean I'm fine with. I mean, hell, they're already doing it.
Yeah, so
That's basically what most of the Disney Plus content's being based on is cherry picked stuff from that continuity. I mean, they've they've turned. I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff going on in like some of those animated shows, which the only one I've watched is Clone Wars. But the the whole thing with Ahsoka and Grand Admiral Thrawn, like Thrawn's a Legends character.
yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know. I just hope that all of this still adheres to Disney paying attention to the fact that they can't just slap some bullshit together and expect us to continuously keep taking it.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what they be doing over there. You know what I'm saying? They be doing stuff and things. So last up here, this is why I wanted to leave this for last. Feige says people who warn of superhero fatigue might as well say audiences will get bored of novel adaptations. The MCU has now released more than 40 movies and TV shows over the last 15 years, with almost as many again coming in the next 3 years. With that in mind, it's not surprising that some people are happy to be harbingers of doom for the Marvel franchise in the near future, saying that superhero fatigue is coming and the entire franchise is going to implode on itself. Kevin Feige doesn't buy into that line of thinking, especially having been asked how long the franchise is capable of lasting since pretty much its conception. Speaking on the Movie Business podcast, Feige explained, been at Marvel Studios for 22 years now, over 22 years, and most of us here at Marvel Studios have been around a decade or longer together. And from probably my second year at Marvel, people were asking, well, how long is this going to last? Is this fad of comic book movies going to end? And I didn't really understand the question because to me, it was akin to saying after Gone with the Wind, well, how many more movies can be made off of novels? Do you think the audience will sour on movies being adapted from books? Feige certainly has a point to make as well, as with more than 80 years of comics having been published by Marvel Comics and DC having an even longer history, there are very few fans who have become bored with the endless stories that have been told over the decades. So why should movies based on them be any different? Feige continues. Well, you never ask that because there is an inherent understanding among most people that a book can be anything. A novel can have any type of story whatsoever. So it all depends on what story you're translating. None non-comic readers don't understand it's the same thing in comics. There's 80 years of the most interesting, emotional, groundbreaking stories that have ever been told in Marvel Comics, and it is our great privilege to be able to take what we can and adapt them. Um, and he said, while Marvel's Phase 4 caught many moviegoers off guard, mainly because it pulled back a lot from the high of Avengers Endgame and didn't attempt to outdo its predecessors, that is something that comes down to each saga being a self contained story, and it just happens to feature some characters from the previous phases. As Feige explained, each of our sagas are broken into phases, and we now find ourselves on the precipice of Phase 2 of the multiverse saga. And there are two ways to do it. One, we look at an overarching narrative, always using the comics and the 80 plus years of Marvel comic history as our guide of what general long term story we want to do. But really, it comes down to each individual film or series and what type of genre we want to do. So, I have some very specific opinions about this. Um, Here's what I think. I think that Feige is living in his own Marvel bubble,
Like that
right?
scene from She-Hulk.
Yes. Yes. He is looking at everything through the prism that the only thing that exists in this world that is comic book adapted is Marvel. And he's right to an extent. You know, comics are still written media with pictures. They're picture books. But there's really good stories. There's different genres to be tackled. There's different ways of approaching storytelling and all this kind of stuff. That yes, you can do that with books and you can do that with painted or hand drawn pictures, but it's not as easy to communicate that to the screen. Even though that we have developed as far as we have based on technology, we're still not at the point where like if I see something in my head, like we're not at that point where we can go to the movies. All three of us go to the same movie, and each one of us get a different visual experience out of it because of how we pictured the movie in our own individual heads, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the novel side. So him saying that novel adaptations, because like that's very much you envision that in your head, and then how
Yeah.
you, the reader, sees it translates that onto paper as a screenplay, and then that screenplay is then processed again by a director. So like that goes through many stages. So of course you're never going to get burnout on novels being adapted because everybody reads books and pictures things differently in their head based off of the descriptions. Comic books is a little bit more straightforward as it's a visual medium, right?
Has
You're getting
pictures.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's right. There's 80 years of it, and there's different ways to approach those things. He's still living in this self-contained bubble where, like, you have all the bullshit that's happened at DC over the last 10 years that's happened, and now we finally gained ground on like what we're doing with that and where it's going and the direction it's headed. 10 years too late, might I add. People are already sick of dealing with DC shit. Then you have like all these third parties where like Spawn. Is the Spawn movie ever going to get fucking made? I don't know. I'm tired of fucking hearing about it. Like, give me a trailer or give me something from it.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't mention it until it's happening.
yeah. So I think that like he's living in this self-contained Feige bubble. And yes, in the self-contained Feige bubble of endless money and endless possibility, then yes, it's easy to sit there and say, no, it's not going to go the way of the Western. And there's no such thing as comic book fatigue when you're making money hand over fist with everything that you've released since 2008. But in the larger scope of the world, people are getting sick of the bullshit that comes with it. They're getting tired of all the other weird, inconsistencies that DC has had. They're getting tired of like all these projects being announced, like Image. What happened to that Twitch and Sam or Twitch and Max series that Kevin Smith was supposed to do? That Spawn spinoff series of the Buddy Cop. What the fuck happened to that? That was like 5 or 6 years ago, and that just fucking disappeared. And I haven't heard Kevin Smith say anything about that whatsoever. You know, and I'm assuming it just fell into La La Land, like everything else has fallen into La La Land. So, like, yeah, there is comic book burnout because you have such an avid fandom for these properties, and either they get misrepresented, they get treated poorly, they change them in very cultural appropriate ways that some people don't like and some people do like. And then the own writer and director's vision for those characters
Well,
skews too much from
well,
what
it's also because Marvel is clever in that if, say, they drop the ball on a movie or a character, well, instead of it being a 2-hour billion-dollar movie that, you know, fans of the book now it just is able to audible into a 2-hour trailer for the next piece of the
yeah,
puzzle.
you're right.
And it's clever. It truly is. It capitalizes on consumerism to a T.
Yeah.
I would say it's easy for him to say it too because Marvel has kind of silently monopolized the comic book film. And
Yeah.
is there superhero fatigue out there? Yes. But like you're saying, Griff, it's for the larger for the genre in general.
Yeah.
Um, Properties and certain stuff outside of Marvel is slightly diminishing, sure, but Marvel's not going to go anywhere. They've got the staying power now,
Yeah.
and it will very much go the way of the Western, but it's going to be probably in terms of well, the comic book movie this year is going to be a Marvel movie, surprise,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Right.
so. And I think a lot of things too is that people the fandom with a lot of this stuff is that I think so many years of the comic like community kind of being in that more outcast, hush hush, don't talk about, you read comics, like, because
Yeah.
despite how the current world is. There was a period
Oh
where
yeah,
you didn't talk about being a fucking
nerd.
Spider-Man fan. You
Yeah.
know,
How old
like,
are you? You know, now everybody fucking likes Spider Man.
and I think that now that this stuff has its day in the sun, it's held to a standard because people just want this shit to be taken serious enough that they can see that it's being taken serious, even if it's something as lighthearted and as funny as the first Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
I got something to say about the
Absolutely.
novels. When
What
he's
you
like,
got?
that's like saying people get burnt out on novels and adaptations, all this stuff. Dude, that has literally been happening
Yeah.
since they started making movies. They fucking butcher novels all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, they will too. Marvel will do the same.
Yeah.
I do have superhero fatigue because there's been several shows that they put out. I didn't even watch it. I saw the trailer, was like, not interested. 10
Yeah,
years
right.
ago, I watched every goddamn thing they put out.
Yeah.
Hell, 5 years ago, everything.
Yeah.
But there's just certain things, you know, because of the shows and like I
Yeah.
didn't watch the fucking
Well, now
One
just
Hit
like
Girl, whatever her name is. I didn't watch that.
well now just like in the comic book space, there's so much that's established now that you absolutely can pick and choose
Yeah.
what you want to watch, and you can still show up in time for the team up and not have to give a
Yeah.
fuck about why that person's on
Like,
screen. And if you don't care about that character, you don't have to know its backstory.
well, then there may be something, you know, a little Easter egg for you if you did watch it.
Yeah,
But if you didn't, it's
There-
okay.
there's payoffs for the faithful, but for the casual person, they don't have to feel like they have to go do their homework anymore.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like what you call it, She-Hulk. It was kind of a chore for a second there.
Yeah.
But it was just a big lead into Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Marvel is smart to not try to recreate that same that same formula that they did with the Infinity Saga. Simply
Oh, yeah.
because
Where you had to see
everything
it
in that
all,
is you have to watch all of that
required
to
viewing.
be
Yeah.
able to appreciate Endgame for like Infinity War and Endgame for what they are as films. You need to watch the whole damn thing because every other scene's a payoff to something that came out, years prior to it.
Yeah.
And the whole Thanos story is an experience of its own, and leaving that to that is a smart move for Marvel, even though it kind of shines light on the fact that fans are really programmed into that right now, and this phase has shown that some people they have to have that on the next exciting episode moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that's come out hasn't done that yet, or it has, but it's not necessarily building up to something that they feel that Marvel is trying to point them towards. Like, for
Right.
instance, everyone's geared up for Kang the Conqueror because it's the next Thanos event that's going to happen. But, nobody's really batting an eye at the idea that, like, all the street level shit that got established in Phase 4.
Yeah.
They
The
recently
whole
too. They
thing.
brought on some writers from some of those shows, like the Arrow.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Saw
yeah,
stuff
because
about
think
that.
about it. Kingpin's rising to power. We've got Spider-Man back on street level. Daredevil's finally in the mix, like the good old fashioned like gonna save the city style superhero stuff. That's about to come back in a very big way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are probably going to get pissed at the next. I'm calling it now. A lot of people are going to hate the next Spider-Man movie because it's not going to be some sort of crazy Iron Man level shit. Like I'm calling it now that it's just going to be good old fashioned Peter Parker being
Yeah.
clumsy as shit in a world that don't know that he's Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah.
Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm totally okay with that. Like,
yeah. And at the end of the day, man, it's one of those things where like it's not going to net well with anybody if Feige agrees that comic book
Oh, yeah.
fatigue is going to happen, right? And I would say at this point, Marvel's the biggest contributing factor to comic book fatigue to an extent. You have all the blunders of all the other comic book companies that can't get their shit together when they're producing stuff. But you also have the past 2 years actually, Marvel has put out so much fucking content that you have to dedicate a pretty significant part of your free time specifically to Marvel. You know what I mean?
That's why it's easier to watch it as it airs, because if you let it build up,
Yeah.
it's just so much.
Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day too, removing all of the passion for these stories and the people that make them and all that stuff aside, Feige is CEO of Marvel, a billion-dollar company. Any CEO that's over a massive like profit engine, you're gonna watch what the fuck you say, because
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you have the kind of power that an off the cuff comment can tank your stock like
Mhm.
instantly.
Yeah.
And when you go back and look at the article here and you see what he's talking about, that's a very sterile reply.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he brought up a little anecdote. He played the like, yeah, man, like they did this, but they're all very. It's very much
Yeah.
like, yeah, we get it. We've been around a long time. We have faith in our company. We have a lot of stuff we can pull from. We're
Yeah.
gonna do the best that we can when we do it. That's very sterile, like comments.
Yeah.
And it's smart because once again, of course he can't go into how he really feels about this shit
Well,
because
the
it
board
would
members would pull
y-
that CEO card real quick. Like,
Yeah.
if he
absolutely.
said anything that would jeopardize the fucking subs for Disney Plus, the
Yeah.
stock,
Oh yeah.
like, if he
Like
started talking about Burnout, it's like, damn, you the showrunner. You're talking about Burnout?
yeah, like or if he came out and said, "Man, we kind of pulled the plug on Blade because we had some terrible screening." Well, that'll lose faith too and just content creation or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, man, well, I watched season 2 of Loki. It's dog shit." Like, the people are obviously not going to do that, even if they know they have a subpar product they're about to release.
I
Right.
am excited. Right under that, they show you the phase 5, and it's kind of cool that we're getting back. It's like COVID kind of fucked
Yeah.
things up for a while.
Yeah.
And phase 4 just felt really long. Just felt long. So it's
Well,
going to be
no.
cool. Look at all that stuff that's coming out. Like,
Well, there's
Yeah.
like a lot of shows, not a lot of films.
Well, they're using the shows now to bridge the gaps.
yeah, in
right?
between.
Which honestly, out of all of that, the two most exciting, because I mean, Quantumania and
Yeah.
Guardians, like those go without saying. But I'm very excited for Daredevil and Secret Invasion.
Blade, Loki.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of good stuff, but I'm very interested with how they pull off Secret Invasion.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm ready for trailers, man.
Feige we trust.
Yeah.
Kind of don't have a choice.
IFWT.
I looked him up, dude. His net worth is $250 million. I'd be up there saying that shit too,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ruin my milk, my meal tickets, man. Because if you're worth 250 million, you're eating good.
It was really funny too the way they wrote that in She-Hulk when she goes to see him.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, oh, it's a little meta here.
Yeah.
Trailers?
Oh, I'm ready, dude.
Hold on.
Is this first one got Stifler in it? Because that's who that looks like.
That's either Stifler or James Franco's brother. Right?
Yeah, yeah. That smile, dude.
All right.
Let's
The Forger.
Let's a diggity do
Let's
this.
fucking tap the Todger. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh. Is it one of the
Okay.
documents? Hugo Stiglitz.
This is one of those you can't even breathe in the same house as these motherfuckers, you know? The best hiding place is in plain sight.
All these people are coming to get documents. Okay. So they're speaking German, right?
I think so.
It's German, catch me if you can.
Yeah.
Of course it's based on a true story.
So he's making paperwork for Jewish people,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
I just finished season 2 of The Hunters.
Yeah.
Or I think it's just Hunters. They only did 2. It's a final.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Mm.
The guy in Bullet Train, old Bloody Eyes that was dead,
Yeah.
he's the main character.
Okay.
Yeah, when I saw him, I was like, oh, shit.
That's cool. Oh, Bloody Eyes.
It's kind of got that over-the-topness to it.
Yeah.
That Bullet Train over, just like, just ridiculous situations sometimes where you're like, what?
Yeah. Wait a minute, bro.
Woman of the photographs. Let's do it.
Taja.
Certainly don't want to be caught Frosty Knickers, you know?
I'll grab my good girl and I will slap thee.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Had to grab a couple indie trailers.
Oh, I bet this movie is. I can already tell this is probably super fucked up.
Deet, 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 deet. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Deet, deet,
body
deet, deet,
horror.
deet, deet. Did it say Cronenberg?
Yeah.
That's a minivan.
I nominate this as my submission for Foreign Film February.
I'll add it to the list. If it's available. Does look crazy though.
Yeah.
It drops in February, but I don't know if that's where, because it doesn't say. So
Yeah,
it may be having a
But I would
proper
like
drop.
to be podlocked on it because that looks good.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
More blonde-haired Jonah Hill.
It's our favorite
Lovely.
Jonah Hill, dude.
It's the
I'm
one
here
that's
for
a
Eddie
fucking
Murphy.
dick without letting you know the bit's over with.
I think he wrote the movie.
Who? Jonah Hill?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was involved in that.
Makes sense.
All right. Hell. All right, 3, 2, 1, play. It's just a short clip, but it is different from the ones we've seen. This is why I dropped it. Yeah, so the guy that he worked with to write it did like Barbershop and
Okay.
yeah, I think that comes out in February. So if we want to check that out on down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, January. Oh, it's out. What?
Is it?
January the 20th. Okay.
All right.
Oh man, this show starring Eugene Levy's eyebrows.
This
Is this
kind of
where
made
the-
me feel like kind of Carl Pilkington type of show where
Okay.
they put, you'll see. It's like he's playing himself, you know.
Yeah.
It's a documentary type thing, but he's traveling.
Right.
And I was like, oh,
I'm
yeah.
down.
I want to see him eat a century egg or some balut. All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Why?
I like these kinds of shows.
Yeah, right.
He's like forever dry.
So
Yeah.
So I would probably watch this whether we watch the trailer in here or not, just because I'm a sucker for travel shit, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Especially when they got somebody traveling that they're like, oh, no. you
yeah,
know?
like they're very like
That whole
I don't
elephant
know.
bit. That's
Yeah.
going to kill. Apple always turning their comments off.
I know, right? I noticed that too.
They're like, fuck you, here's our stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get to
We
say.
don't need feedback.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
We-
Like, leave the reviews for Google.
So y'all got pretty hair working over there? This looks
What
interesting.
you do not trust our content creation?
I believe it's a TV show.
The Vista. Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. I'm already in.
Dude, Dr. Manhattan, bro. I'm down.
What's got that 50s futuristic?
Fallout, bro.
Yeah, right.
That's weird.
Mm.
I feel like this is them trying to beat Fallout to the punch.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, there's a twist.
Like,
Futuristic air fryer.
dude, this is such a Fallout ripoff.
That's pretty interesting.
Like, I think it's gonna be great, but like the
Well, it's
whole
like
door to
Fallout
doors,
without the Fallout.
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
What if
That's
that's
a-
a clever way of being a prequel to the Fallout? Like I know, okay, I know Amazon's doing Fallout. I know that that's Apple, but how crazy would it be if like you have this whole season and it builds up to like they're selling timeshares for the moon, and that's a huge scam, or
Yeah.
they're actually selling timeshares for one of the vaults. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
or something crazy. Like, I don't know. It'd be fucking nutty. I know it would never happen, but still.
There's definitely something messed up going on there, though. Like
Oh yeah, absolutely.
bad vibes.
Absolutely, dude.
So they finally dropped. Everybody was like, they dropped a trailer next week for the new Scream, and it's like, are we excited for this?
Some people are.
I mean,
don't know why.
apparently, Scream has made a small bit
Well,
of a
that last
comeback.
one, right? Didn't they do one not too long ago?
I think they brought
Yeah.
Nev Campbell
Yeah.
back, and I think that's a
They
big
brought
deal.
a
Like
few.
they've course corrected into legacy
Ah,
sequel
yeah.
mode.
20 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the show has had some success. But I'm ready when y'all
All
are.
right, let's Peaky Blinders. 3, 2, 1, play. That was Jenna Ortega. Get out of my way, Fred Durst. Oh. I think I've ever seen him use a gun. Halloween ends. Mahi mahi. What the fuck?
It's Jamie Kennedy, dude. What a fucking twist would that be, right?
It's always been Jamie Kennedy.
Like he don't actually like get killed in that first one. He somehow survives. He's been watching all this shit play out for 20 years. He's like, these motherfuckers fucked up. They don't know nothing about horror movies.
Yeah.
Being dead isn't the problem. Being forgotten, now that's a bitch.
Yeah, right. It's not my fault that I did the Son of the Mask. I needed money.
Looking for some chapstick.
I might check this next
There's a
thing
Fort
out.
Maverick. Y'all ready?
Oh yeah,
3, 2,
Oh.
1, play.
I love Jason's sequel.
Remember we used to do this at work, Griffin?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell him I need a couch in here for him to sit on. That's a drop right there.
He's tall as fuck too.
Yeah. I think by helping everyone else, it'll help him.
It doesn't look like the first choice I would make, but it does look like it's well done. Like it looks like they probably act their asses off in that show.
Yeah, I like Jason Segel a lot. So we got. Is this trailer number 2?
Oh yeah.
Well, let's peep it.
Can't believe the comments are on.
I know, right? This movie has a massive rolled multiple ones and the chaotic, uncooperative player's energy, and I'm all for it. All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play. Oh, Vecna. It's like a remix.
I mean,
Mm-mm. Mm. That motherfucker's fat, dude. Shit.
I mean,
Just like playing D&D. Well, they're clearly having better rolls than I did, but
Well, I'm still gonna be skeptical, but
it's got some
it
money
looks like
behind it.
yeah, I must say yeah, it looks like it got the
That first trailer didn't have any of that shit. Like,
no.
no.
What the fuck have we got here?
Kick.
Is this it?
8 years old, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
But when I
We'll see
saw
what
the
we've been
beginning of it, I
missing.
was like, I have to use this one.
8 years ago was what, 2016? No, 2014. Yeah. Okay. Just to put it in context of what we're thinking
Oh.
about as far as like CGI
Their
and everything.
CGI
You know what I
looks the same. I mean, they're straight up using the CGI from 10 years ago.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
They just don't have as much.
Right. More practical effects.
Oh, I had
or-
one where a guy, he's like shooting this dude. He picks this woman up, and a helicopter comes at him, and he just puts his hand out and stops it. Yeah. So I had that trailer, but then it's like, what it was it was showing a trailer for this action star. And then
That's
the whole
ridiculous.
movie was this guy wanted to get a selfie with him, but he was this action star that wouldn't take selfies with people. I don't know.
I mean, well, I'm ready for kick, dude.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. See, same CGI.
Devil.
And he rides a bicycle. Right here. train
that
thing's the
sold
way they
me
pull
right
it.
there.
Oh man.
Devil. It's almost like a different movie.
Yeah.
Oh, back to the movie. Oh, when he has the mask on, they don't know it's him. That's right. What was that sound? Devil. Violence, violence, violence.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, when he hopped off that bicycle in front of that train, I was like, this is the one. I didn't even watch the rest of it.
He was just too cool for school, dude. Oh my God.
I mean, what the hell, you know?
Well, it's
Yeah,
like every
right.
movie, there's just a Silly Goose time, like Silly Goose action movie, music number,
Yeah.
just over the
Fall in
top.
love.
They're like, people
Life.
don't want to think when they go to the theater.
No.
Their life already sucks.
Yeah. Let's give them something
Violence,
better.
violence, violence.
He goes,
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that?
Oh.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, we got to
Love it.
do RRR in February.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Violence. So Black Panther next week,
Black
right?
Panther. We're going to watch that. Last of Us.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. We are cutting into February with the first Black Panther, but we could just run it long.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, we'll still get, we could still get if we each come up with one. I actually had already put one in there. Trav said he wanted to watch that one. If we do Triple R, there's 3.
Yeah. I want to. What all's in there right now?
I've got that military movie.
Stalingrad.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to put that one that came out on Netflix, the black and white one. Well, it came out on Netflix last year.
All
Let's
Quiet
see.
on the Western Front.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I
I'm
want to
down
throw
with
that in the
that.
ring.
I actually want to watch that personally, so that's great.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So, but yeah, I'm cool.
I've heard good things about that.
I've heard really, really good things.
What little
about
bit
it,
I
man.
saw, they were watching it at my grandparents', and the little bit I saw, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like when those dudes show up to war, because they're all like kids.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. We're going to find girls. And they get there, and it's like, this ain't fun. They find out real quick. There ain't nothing fun about being on the front line.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Black Panther next week.
Yeah, I'm cool with running into March with foreign film. I mean, it's a tradition at this point. We got to get 4, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. And Black Panther, because Ant-Man comes out, is it in March?
I think so.
So I
it's
mean,
it's February, man.
wow, okay. So yeah, we got to knock Black Panther out.
17.
Yeah, before that comes out, just so we know if there's anything, you know.
I say I mean, it's entirely up to you guys, because I know we've all got different moving parts to our lives here, but I'm down for going the distance of knocking out the Marvel shit, juggling The Last of Us, and still honoring Foreign Film February.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I know that makes
Yeah,
a
we
list.
just talked about going longer than the month.
Yeah. I'm totally down.
Checks in the mail.